This might sound kind of silly, but if you want to start out, just kind of tell me how you fell in love with soccer.
Yeah, no, I mean, as a young boy, obviously growing up in Ireland, it was. I have three younger brothers, so it was all we did was play soccer. So literally from as far back as I can remember, it was we played soccer literally every day. It was, even when we'd finish school, your bag went down, you went out and you played soccer. So it's something I've loved doing all my life.
How did your relationship with soccer grow and change as you moved through your life?
I started with a team called Wolf Town, which is a small little team in Bray, County Wicklow, where I grew up. Got to 14 and then became more serious. I wanted to maybe try to play at a higher level, so I went into Dublin, played for a team called St Joseph's Boys. Had a year and a half there, and then got scouted by Stoke City, so went over, had a trial there, and then at that point it got pretty serious and pretty real. So went to Stoke and had a long career in England, which was very fortunate to have, and then came to the US in 2012 to finish playing, and then came Louisville 2014 to be the head coach, and we started first year 2015. So it sort of evolved from being a young boy playing in Ireland to going to England and now living in America, and been fortunate to still be involved in pro soccer.
What can soccer offer people from all walks of life? We talk a lot about soccer being a universal language, and it truly is the only universal language when I think about it. I mean, everyone always says, oh, everyone recognizes a smile, but I think any country would recognize soccer. So
Absolutely.
How do you feel to know that you're part of something that exists on basically every corner of the world?
Well, I think soccer is pretty unique in the fact that every country has a soccer team. Most have national teams. If not, they will have national federations that are trying to build toward getting a national team. But I think, to your point, it's truly one universal sport. Everybody across the world, the rest of the world will call it football. We call it soccer here. But I think the opportunities that presents people, it's not just playing the game, it's not just refereeing the game, it's, there's the business side of it as well that I find myself in now, so I've been very fortunate that I've been able to play the game, I've been able to coach the game, and now I'm involved at the executive level. So I think the game itself presents so many opportunities for people, whether it's to be involved actively in the game or to be working as part of the business side. So I think it's pretty unique in the fact that every country will understand soccer and have a football team, which presents huge opportunities for everyone that loves the game.
As someone that has been a football soccer player in so many parts of the country and has played against so many different people, how does Louisville stack up, I guess, to other places? And you can be honest. I mean, we're ready for you don't have.
The one thing I can promise you, I'll be honest. I'll be genuine and dead straight. So I think when we first arrived here, it was 2014. There was definitely a lot of enthusiasm. There was definitely a lot of excitement around the soccer team. Probably at that point, not a real understanding of the game. And I think what we found was that 2015 we launched. We had some success. The way the community embraced Lou City was fantastic. I think the excitement that generated in a baseball stadium, the success then of being able to have Eastern Conference championships, win championships, I think that led obviously to the building of the training ground, the building of the stadium, the academy. We've got 5 boys from the academy that are in the first team squad on the men's side. We've got the girls academy where we've got players lined up and ready and waiting for them to come into the women's team. The launching of racing, the women's team. So I think it's gone from perhaps maybe not having a load of understanding to now being a really passionate and dynamic place where people truly love the game. And I think when you look now, we've got the academy that's growing and expanding into different areas of the community. You've got a number of different supporters around the city that are coming to both teams, both racing and Lou City. So I think the excitement that has been generated over the last sort of 7 to 8 years is off the charts. I think the growth has been exceptional, and that's something that we're very proud of, and we want to continue. We want to continue to grow the game and grow our fan bases and try to bring the game of soccer throughout the whole state.
Growing up in Louisville, I knew that there was a really robust club program. how does that club program, not only with racing in Lou City's clubs, but with the other clubs, Javnon, Mockingbird, how does that help build up the passion for soccer in Louisville?
Well, that's a great question. That's one of the things for us, that we want to continue to grow the game. So whether a child is playing for Javnon, Mockingbird, Lou City, racing, I mean, it's almost irrelevant to us. You know, we want people to be playing soccer. I think that's the big avenue and the big growth area for us is participation. So the more people we can get falling in love with the game, the more chance there is that they'll come and they'll support our teams at the pro level, you know. So I think the more children we can get that love the game, that participate, that want to be a part of the game, that want to come to watch and support our teams, it allows for us to get great interaction and to continue to build, you know. So for us it's important that people get an opportunity to play the game, get an opportunity to come and watch the game. You know, we can provide that through our own academy, we can provide that through different partnerships, we can provide that through our pro teams. We also now have the foundation where we're actively involved in some of the less fortunate areas of the city to be able to bring soccer to those areas. So it's something we're very passionate about, and we want to continue to grow the game. And you know, it's honestly, it's irrelevant to me personally whether a child is playing for Javnon or Lou City and Mockingbird. Obviously we want them to be playing for Lou City and racing because we want to try to create more opportunities, but I'm excited to hear people that are playing soccer, and that's what's truly important to us.
Mm-hmm. What kind of steps are you taking at a leadership kind of in the, you know, an office level to secure the future of racing and Lou City, to ensure that those teams are still here? I know especially with the NWSL teams it feels like the bids are a little more tissue paper. They're not necessarily super secure. That's just the way with the expansions and everything. So what are you doing to secure the futures of those teams in Louisville?
Well, I think when you look at I'll take racing to start with. The last board meeting in New York, we've got a new commissioner, Jessica, new COO, Bill, and both of those I think have given tremendous confidence to the ownership groups. And I think we all left New York feeling really positive about the direction that the league is headed in, really positive about some of the aspects and opportunities that they see for growth. And I think on a local level, what's really important to us is to try to get access to as many people as possible where they can come out and they can support racing and support our teams. And you know, there's a big game tomorrow night where you'll be able to see Rose Lavelle, who grew up 90 minutes from here, and she went on and won the World Cup. You know, you have Emily Fox and Jalen Howe that are playing in Louisville, that are current US internationals. You know, you've Jess McDonald playing for us, who won the World Cup. You know, we've Nadia Nadim. So I think when you look at racing, we have an incredibly talented roster that maybe for young girls that are growing up in the community can aspire to and learn from. And I think that's what I love about our teams, is they're very active in the community, and racing in particular, the ladies have been very diligent in trying to create relationships and trying to partner with local youth groups and different organisations to bring the game of soccer to all young children and young girls especially.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with you 100%. I feel like I always see them out, they're doing great on social media, they're always at the events, they're always making those community connections. So why do you think that's not translating to sold out games every single time that they're playing at home? I mean, a beautiful facility.
It is. It's a phenomenal facility, and I think for us, I think a lot of it as well is brand awareness. I think when you look at where Lou City started, I mean, we were in a baseball stadium. We had to build the brand, and I think people want to make comparisons with racing in Lou City now. Well, Lou City is in a 7-8-year-old brand. Racing is in year 2. So I think when we look at where Lou City was in year 2, in comparable to racing, I think they're in great positions. Racing is slightly ahead of where Lou City was. So I think for us, the growth of the brand is really important. The awareness that we actually have a professional Tier 1 women's soccer team as well here is another big aspect, because I think Lou City has captured so much of the community. I think there's a lot of supporters that see Lou City and don't understand that there's a pro women's soccer team here that's Tier 1 as well. So I think for us, being really intentional about growing the brand, really making people aware that there is a Tier 1 team here in town, and then trying to encourage people to come out and support that team as well as Lou City is something we're actively trying to do.
Jess McDonald has been really vocal about choosing Louisville and choosing this program. For someone with as much name recognition, with as much, to put it, bluntly, muscle in women's soccer. She was fighting for the equal pay. She's been very outspoken about other issues within the league. For her to actively choose Louisville, what do you think that says, not only about the city of Louisville, but also about the program that you all have?
I think it speaks volumes, and I think it's testament to what we're building here. I think on a national level, I don't think there's enough people quite understand what we've built here for racing. When you look at the equality that they have at the training ground, everything is symmetrical, everything is identical. Both teams have the exact same facilities. They have the shared space when it comes to the gym. They have the cafeteria. Everybody gets breakfast, everybody gets lunch. So for us, the equality piece is something from the onset we've really sort of been paramount in building and making sure people are aware of that. And I think for Jess, I think she saw that we were really intentional and really genuine about trying to treat the women's team the exact same as the men's team. There's no, for us, it's not, well, the men's team train in the morning and then the women train after. It's like, no, they both have their own areas of the training ground that are symmetrical and identical, and they can train at whatever time they want. So the equality piece was really important to us, and then treating and paying the players what they deserve is something that, again, we were really intentional about trying to make sure that we were following the league's protocols. We were doing everything that we needed to do, but there's a transparency in what we're trying to build on the women's side, and equality is something that's at the forefront of what we're building.
Where do you see yourself, the program, and soccer in Louisville in general in 5 years? So it's a 3-part question there.
Yeah, well, great question. My hope is in 5 years we have more championships. I think that's something we're really, really intentional about trying to get. My hope is in 5 years' time we have, I would say, enhanced the support for both teams. I think we're continually trying to build both aspects to it. I think in 5 years we would hope to have had championships, hope to have had increased fan base. And then for myself, I hope that I'm continue to be fortunate enough to be involved with the organisation and to be helping play a part in growing the game and bringing more success to all our great supporters in the community.